Next up, first-year head coach with Rifle, TODD CASEBIER. And we say that in a first year. This is a guy that's had so much success for a couple of decades on both sides of the Continental Divide. And right now, when we consider where you are, Todd, there is no coach who is more unique than you in the entire country, I think. 4 months ago, you just finished up a football season with Castleview in the Denver metro area, and then now you're coaching a spring season with Rifle. In terms of your timeline, how did you get here?
Well, as you said, my wife and I were in Castle Rock, and this thing with Rifle started heating up really in December, and Coach Wells left, and so things started heating up kind of right after the season ended for us at Castleview in November. It happened pretty quick, and it ended up interviewing for the job, both of us, and got hired in January. So it's been fast and furious, and as you said, coaching another football season, with COVID. So I'm the only one dumb enough or crazy enough to do this, I guess. So, but our kids are doing well with it. Mostly it's been pretty good so far.
How much did that fit in your decision-making, where if you were going to take that Rifle gig, you realize you got to go? I mean, you got a season coming up.
Yeah, that made it especially crazy because, you're dealing with kids here that have run the same offense for 10 years. All the way since they were in middle school or elementary school, rather. So second, third grade, they were running Coach Wells' offense. So that's been a real challenge terminology wise, and getting them on the same page offensively. And at the same time, you're doing it without a summer, without football camp, without some of the things that you normally would. And on top of it, we had a bunch of kids in wrestling and in basketball. So that part's been very challenging, but our kids are starting to get it.
And a challenge for you to move your whole family, right? Why was it the right time? I mean, you had so much success at Castleview to where you were getting media coverage. People were paying attention in ways that Castleview had never gotten that kind of attention, but yet now is the time. Why is that?
I think it's probably the same that it's been in other places I've been. It felt like that we got Castleview in a good place, and it was we wanted to get back to Western Colorado. Not necessarily Rifle, but then when the Rifle job came up, it's like that checks all the boxes. We grew up in Palisade. My wife grew up in Durango. So it's closer to both of our parents, and our families are here. So we just wanted to get back. Our son lives in Grand Junction, and our daughter goes to CSU, so we're further from her. But we just wanted to get back over this way, and this was a chance to do it.
Yeah, it fits you if you think of what you've done in your resume, whether it's with Palisade, Montrose, Fruita-Monument, consistent playoff appearances. You've got championship appearances on your resume. Western Colorado is your thing. Why is that for you? It's just a fit for you.
Yeah, it is. It's, we knew when we went to Castle Rock that it was a different pace of living in a different town. Things are busy in Denver. And so we enjoyed it, but it just didn't fit for what we wanted to do in terms of being outdoorsy. And I like to hunt and fish and camp. And as you know, it's a lot bigger deal to try to do that from over there. And again, the Rifle thing was the right time at the right place. I'm moving into administration, and as is my wife. So it wasn't really one thing. It never is. It was just a chance to get back to Western Colorado. And of course, the football position here, I think, is attractive, and a lot of work to do at the school. I'm the dean of students, so I feel like I can help in other ways than just being the coach. So I'm excited about that.
In terms of the install of the work ethic, of the game planning, installing you as a coaching staff this season C, what have been, I don't know, the challenges, what's been interesting, intriguing, what's been just weird? How would you describe it?
Well, first of all, I've been lucky everywhere I've been. I've had really good assistants. And so this was even more difficult trying to meet a staff and get one going in January, considering football started essentially in February. So real challenges there, but the guys that I have at Rifle have done a great job. And again, they're getting to know me still. So this was really everything that I've tried to do in fast forward, right down to, as you said, establishing, having the kids understand what you're about and what you expect in the classroom, and out. And so there's been a lot of adjusting, the kids in terms of adjusting to what I'm trying to do, not just X's and O's, but also my expectations. Like we have some kids right now that went from being, D and F guys to being A and B guys. And then we got some guys that have not gotten better, so they won't be playing next week. And it's not an eligibility thing as much as it's an expectation. I don't want kids to think that, hey, I've got it, I'm eligible, that's all that matters. That's not a great standard for their life, is to say, oh, I'm, like if you say a D is 60% of the time. So you're trying to get them to understand that that's not going to get you a great job down the road or get you into a school or get a great girl. 60% of the time is not good enough unless you're a baseball player, right? Batting average. So, which is a great batting average. But bottom line is there's a lot of things that are not football related that go into these deals. And then of course there's the football piece, which has been extremely challenging considering I just got here in January, and the terminology that we use in this offense is completely different than what they used previously. So that's been the single biggest challenge, is getting them to understand the offense.
Well, something's working. We're early on in the season, but you guys are averaging, over 400 yards rushing per game. How much does that fit what TODD CASEBIER has done for 20 years, or what you have available to you with the rifle program?
The thing about the rifle kids is they were very good at running the ball. They have been for a long time. Coach Wells had that established. So that part of it is very familiar to them. The difference is with what we do, rifle pretty much, they gave it to one guy and then they would use the other guys as counters off that. We give it to a bunch of guys and try to establish, obviously if there's a hot hand, he'll get the ball more, but we try to spread the ball around to our backs, which has been very effective. And then just like anywhere else I've been, it starts up front. The offensive line's been really good. We've got kids that are certainly getting better every week, and then the backs are doing their part. And our quarterback, Gavin Peterson, has never played quarterback until now, and he's picking it up. Caden Wolf's our fullback, is really playing well. All of our backs, Embry and Toto, are running the ball tough. So it's a team effort as always, but again, so far so good. But it all changes when we play Basalt. They're clearly on a different tier than the teams that we've been playing, and that's no offense to them, but Basalt they're a very good team.
Yeah, you've got some good games coming up, Basalt, Glenwood Springs, and then you just got to go through a Western Slope League where everybody kind of knows each other. It's not surprising, as I've crossed paths with you covering your various programs. You're going to talk offensive line. On tape, I noticed a few guys. You want to drop some names on who's excelling so far for your offensive line?
Really, all of them. Justin
Okay.
Gill's our center, has done a really good job. Aiden Kirkowitz is our tackle. He's a senior, first year playing football, is doing great. Giovanni Gonzalez is a sophomore guard, playing both ways for us, is really playing well. Cade Street's a sophomore left tackle, playing really well. Josh Straw is our, he's our best player, returning starter. He's the one returning starter we have from the previous team. He plays both ways for us. Our tight end, Cannon Wall, Brock Caldwell, we're in double tight a lot. So they've all been really good. Charlie Heisel's also playing guard and tackle. So we've got a good mix of kids. And again, as I said, we're spreading the ball around to different backs. And our quarterback's been efficient in the pass game. So it's a good recipe. But again, what I've tried to do is be more balanced as I'm a run guy, but you got to be able to throw it. So we continue to work on that.
Yeah, I like the word mix with you guys from what I'm seeing. It's kind of fun tracking who's going to, actually get a chance to carry the football. And then, of course, the success. You mentioned the big guy. He's going to catch your attention. What do you have him listed at when I talk about Caden Wolf? Is he 6'2", 230-ish?
Yeah, he is, every bit of it. Yeah, he's a man. So, and a really good player. He didn't get to run the ball virtually at all last in 2019 for rifle. And so he's still, feeling his way out in this offense, but he's been dominant. When he gets behind his pads, people don't want to tackle him, and he runs hard, and, he takes care of the ball, which is, of course, a big thing. And then again, the offensive line is creating some opportunities. He's had a hamstring injury, so he really hasn't been full speed. He had a couple long runs against Aspen. You can see he's opening up a little bit. He's getting more confidence in his hamstring. So I'm really excited for him and that he's healthy and playing well.
Okay. Embry Marantino, he's a two-way player, right? And just, Wolf will catch your attention because of that physicality, but Marantino can bring it. And isn't he like 6'2", 200, something like that? This football player.
Yes, he is. I'll give you a great Embry story. He also just finished with the school play, and he had a leading role in the school play. So he's also in the band. That's the kind of kids we have here at Rifle, and we're happy about that. Like, we don't want him just playing football, right? We want him to be part of the school. So Embry's certainly part of that. We have two safeties. He plays safety on defense, and then he's ran the ball for us, scored touchdowns in both games. He's a really good player. We just have enough backs to where we're spreading the ball around, and Embry's done some good things. He also returns kicks for us, and again, as you said, he's a good football player.
Yeah, and another guy that's part of that three-back attack that you have, and then you add the quarterback, of course, Junior Toto Fletchell. Have you ever had a Toto on your team, and why is that a good thing?
I have not. It's funny because I'm finally calling him Toto. For the longest time, I kept calling him the wrong name, so the kids said, "Why don't you just call him Tonto?" So Toto, Tonto, same guy to me, but he's played really well. If you look at his yards per carry, he's probably one of the better guys considering the touches he's got. So as we go forward, he's going to get the ball more. He's earned that. So we're excited about him as well. And again, we've had a couple fumbles, which is unfortunate, but other than that, we've really been solid. And they all block for each other. That's the other thing that's cool about the backs. We have another kid, Josh Avia, who has been hurt, that is now healthy. We're excited about him. Peyton Prettyman also has run the ball for us. So we have a stable of backs that we hope to continue to use.
Again, this is all very early. You've had this good success, but you're still installing what is the Casebier era at Rifle. Considering that success so far, why do you guys have some confidence that you're going to be able to continue to do these kind of good things in the rushing attack as you move towards, like you said, Basalt, Glenwood Springs, the rest of the Western Slope League, and then hopefully a postseason?
Well, the one thing that I recognize with this the spring football and the way the state has set this up is, in all likelihood, you're going to end up having to play a couple teams from your league potentially twice, once in the regular season and again in the playoffs. So there's a lot of football left to be played, and we're still learning about our each other here at Rifle, the coaches and the kids, really. And there's a lot of football left, but we know that someone like Basalt, who has the look of the number one team in this deal right now. And so when you have people like that on your schedule, you already mentioned Glenwood, who's very good. We know that if we're going to be in the middle of this thing, we got to find a way to play these teams and beat them. And again, you might have to beat them twice, or you just really need to beat them the second time. It's another way to look at it. So you want to beat them every time, but the one that matters is the last one. So we're trying to get better every week because we feel like we're going to have a good shot to be in the playoffs. And then once you get there, that time of year, everybody knows it's about the team that's playing the best. And so we have a lot of growth that we can still achieve, and we're trying to do that.
And you obviously have big goals. The program that fits them, it fits you and what you've accomplished. I'm thinking of you where, again, your last game was in November. Some of these upperclassmen for your Rifle team haven't played a competitive football game in 16 months. How much does your, recent experience help you in messaging with motivation with these guys?
Well, that's a great point. And I can tell you that the 2019 Rifle team, like I said, Josh Straw was a two-way starter, and then Caden Wolf played half the time on defense. That's virtually all the kids we have that played. So not only do we have a new team, to me, they're new on varsity football. So we haven't made a big deal about it, but I think it's also helped us because this is their first time playing varsity ball, and the fact that it's in a different offense makes it more challenging, but they bought into it's their time, right? The 2019 team at Rifle was special. They were ranked number one pretty much most of the year and got upset by Basalt. And these guys were kind of in their shadow. And now, it's their time. So we'll see what they do with it, right? That's because of COVID, because of spring football, 2021, as you said, it was like, again, I actually did the math. It was like close to 17 months. That was the last home football game that Rifle played until we played at home last Friday. So that's just crazy,
Right.
And so here we are now, and we're trying to make the best of it.
You're proud to call Colorado home. So are we. Since 1973, We've been getting back to the communities where we live, work, and play across our great state. And we're here to stay. If you're looking for an independent, locally managed community bank where the employees are also the owners, we would like to be your bank. We're Alpine Bank.